Okay, so today's story is honestly really intense and honestly may get emotional at some moments of this story. So if you get emotional very easy, maybe this story is not for you. But if you guys don't and you guys want to hear about my near-death experience, make sure you smash that like button and also leave a like and subscribe. Because seriously, it means a lot when you guys do. And on top of that, if you guys haven't already, I am currently live as I'm speaking right now to you. Also, not to mention, I'm also the hottest guy in the world, so follow me on Instagram because seriously, it means a lot when you guys do. Other than that, like I always say, let's get straight into this crazy, intense story. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba, and welcome back to another insane story. So this story takes place back when I was in high school. Back when I was in high school, I remember this was my senior year, and honestly, the senior year of high school is one of the most suckiest things ever. Some of you guys may ask, why is it sucky? And the main reason is because you guys have no idea how much pressure it is to not know what you're going to do after you graduate. You see, me being a senior, it was really intense and really hard to know what in the world was I planning on doing next with my future. I didn't know what I wanted to be, I didn't know what I wanted to do, nor did I know what the future would hold for me. In my mind, I was thinking that, hey, maybe I could just play video games, stay at my parents' house, and just do what I love. But honestly, becoming a YouTuber was never part of the plan, nor is, I don't think, anyone that's coming out of high school makes it part of their plan. But I remember this specific time was so intense for me, and it almost led me to a near-death experience. So I remember one time I was walking down the hallway of my high school. Nor was my last year there, it was intense, and it really gave me a lot of pressure building up every day. It got to the point where my mind was in a dark place, knowing that all I ever did throughout high school was just pass classes, go meet girls, and just do the devil's tango. You guys gotta understand, my body count at this moment was easily over 95. That's right, 95 from grade 8 till now. So not knowing what I wanted to do was crazy to me. Anyways, like I said, I was walking down the hallway, and basically, I remember my friend walks up to me saying, yo, bro, man, like I'm having a crazy party, bro. You gotta come pull up. Like it's gonna be a little thing, but you know, there's gonna be a lot of chicks there, bro. And I know like if more girls go, you'll go as well. Honestly, the amount of times I heard that from my friend, I started to realize was a lot. But he was right. I went to a party, girls would too. And honestly, one thing I started to realize as well was that going to parties was really getting old for me. But I told him, you know what, bro? I got you. I'll be there. And I dabbed him up, and basically we ended up splitting our ways, and I just went to do my normal thing. I went to all my classes, you know, sat down, and then afterwards I ended up just going home, and well, I sat on my bed thinking, all right, what's next? I remember hours went by and I did the same thing as usual. I sat in my home and playing Call of Duty until at least around 7:30 when the party was supposed to start. I remember I ended up getting up and I got ready and I got dressed for this party, and when I got dressed, I remember I started going to my car. I sat in my car, my blue Toyota Celica that I had all throughout high school and loved so much, and started driving down there. When I drove down there, I remember I parked my car. When I parked my car, so many people in the house were yelling, yo, Bubba's here, guys. Bubba's chilling here, bro. Bubba's here. And like, I mean, I don't know. I guess it was cool in a way. I remember I walked inside and there were a lot of girls there and stuff, and a lot of them were looking at me, and a lot of them were like, you know, hey, Bubba, like what's going on? And me, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of just went there for the drinks and I started drinking. By the way, don't underage drink, kid. It's not a good idea. And basically from there, I remember after having like a beer or so, I didn't feel like drink anymore. It was very odd because usually I would drink a lot more, but I just stopped drinking. I'm like, you know what? I'm not really down to drink right now. And I remember I walked up to my buddy and I'm like, yo, bro, like I'm kind of just trying to chill, so I'm just gonna go sit on the couch, right? Then he said, oh yeah, man, just go ahead, bro. Like no one's gonna stop you. So I ended up sitting down. I remember when I sat down, I saw everyone just kind of like all talking and hanging out with each other. And all of them were talking about the same thing, which really annoyed me. They're all talking about graduation and what universities they're going to and all that stuff. As for me, well, I had no idea where I was gonna go. I had no idea if I was gonna go to school. I had no idea if I was gonna stay home. Honestly, I didn't know what to do at all. And it reminded me of the time when my father said that I should go into the military. Yeah, me in the military. I know, crazy. Anyways, I remember going on, as I was sitting in that party, I just kind of started to think like, wow, everyone has their future ready but me, until something insane happened. I remember a girl walked up to me and sat down beside me, and she's like, hey, Bubba, like what's going on? And I kind of just started like talking to her about like life and stuff and how I had no idea what I was gonna do, because, well, I mean, I don't know, I guess the best thing to do at a party when you're bored is emotionally open up to someone even though you don't really want to. And she was basically said, I mean, honestly, like if you had no idea what to do with your life, then just, you know, just relax and do what you think feels right. I don't know, she gave me the whole hippie talk like every other person did when I had no idea what to want to do. Like she literally sounded like my school counselor. So I remember I kind of just brushed it off and kind of was more pissed off at that point, because I'm like, you know what, like this is so dumb. And then this girl came up to me again, the same girl that was doing all the hippie talk, as I walked away from her, and she's like, where are you going? Like, why are you so upset? Like, you know what, maybe you just need a little me time. As she started getting close to me, and she said that she wanted to do the devil's tango, but I didn't want to. I'm like, nah, like sorry, I'm not in the mood, bro. Like just get away from me. I know I turned someone down. When my friend saw that I turned someone down in the middle middle of a party. He walked up to me as I was leaving the door and leaving outside, and he's like, bro, like, what's going on, man? Like, why are you leaving? Like, some of the girls are upset, bro. Like, what's up? And I basically told him how I'm not really party ready, nor am I really wanting to party. And he's like, bro, what do you mean, bro? It's a Friday night. Just like rock on, man. Just have a good time. Bro, I just don't feel it, is what I told him afterwards. He really got in questioning of why I was acting like this, but then he kind of just let me go and said, all right, man, do you, but just remember, if you need anything, just call me up, you know? I told him sure. To this day, I haven't talked to him since, but you know, maybe it's for the better. Anyways, going on with the story, I remember I got in my car and I basically just wanted to leave. I started driving away, and when I was driving, I remember I went on my phone and I started playing songs from Jon Bellion. If you guys don't know, my favorite artist is Jon Bellion. Ever since I was a kid, Jon Bellion was the person I would listen to since middle school till now even. And I remember I played one of his songs called Human, where basically he would talk about, you know, how life is really hard, and you know, like basically how he's sick of repeating the same thing and how nothing has changed and he is the same, and it's just an overall cycle. I remember I was listening to that song over and over, and it got to the point where I started crying while driving. So warning to people out there, crying while driving is really intense. It's really scary because your eyes water up and then you start wiping it, and then your eyes aren't really on the road, which they should be, and it gets really scary. And then I remember as I was driving and crying, I decided to go to the back streets of things because I didn't want to be on the main road, because I think I wasn't driving really good, to be honest, nor did I want people to notice me. And also I like to stay away from cops when I'm on the main roads. And then I remember as I was driving really fast, I think I was driving like almost like 60 miles per hour. I remember I was crying more and more and more to the point where I was mad and driving. And then out of nowhere, this was so crazy. Like, you guys are gonna think I'm insane for this, but I remember when I wiped my tears one more time and I looked at the road, I saw there was a stop sign, but I didn't care. I just kept going and drove straight through it. I know, insane. And no one should do this, by the way. It was really dumb, but I said screw it and I kept going. And I remember right as I looked to the right of me, I ended up seeing a car. There was a car, a giant truck, and I saw headlights right to my face. And right when I saw it, I remember I pushed on the gas so hard, my foot slammed to the ground. My car engine went and basically I remember my car flew. I ended up going like basically almost 100 miles per hour. It was so insane. It was intense and scary. I remember I was panicking, and I remember my heart was racing once I did that, knowing I dodged a truck that was about to hit me because his horn was hitting it. And I remember my engine was just running like crazy. It was the most scariest thing. And I remember when I ended up passing the intersection, I was just so shook that I remember I turned into a back alley. I parked my car and I basically laid my seat down and started like hyperventilating. I was thinking, oh my goodness, I was about to die. It was the scariest thing ever. I didn't know what to think. I didn't know what to do. I was like freaking out, man. Like, it was a lot. I remember I looked up afterwards after calming down a little bit, and I'm like, I need to go home and figure out what I want to do. So I went home and I sat down for a couple minutes thinking, I'm happy I'm not dead. I didn't tell anyone this or what happened afterwards, but I basically stayed home, laid down, and I started crying again. So I did what my coping mechanism back when I was in high school usually did. I called up a girl on Snapchat, said, hey, you want to come over? And she came over and we ended up doing the Devil's Tango. Because if I was gonna die, I want to die at least somewhat happy. I remember I was under the water, and as this girl's thighs were around my neck, I knew I was going to literally die from having no oxygen under the water. I thought this was the end of Bubba. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba, and welcome back to another insane story. So this story all takes place back in my grade 5 year. Now in grade 5, I was just a basic elementary schooler, and I was just a really calm and random dude. And by that, I mean, to be honest, I didn't play any sports. I wasn't known for anything, and to be honest, I was just that nerd guy with glasses that kind of was just there. Obviously, a lot of people did know who I was, but they never put like a label to it until this one certain day came around. Because I remember there was a time where in my grade 5 year, the teacher ended up walking in front of the class, and she said to us, okay, class, so if you guys don't know, we're going to the swimming pool and we're going to be doing swimming lessons for our next PE class. So everyone, make sure you guys bring your swim trunks and sign the waiver. Now, when I first saw this, I didn't really complain because, well, back when I was younger, my dad used to teach me how to swim all the time. Obviously, I wasn't like any like Olympic professional, but I was good at swimming. So obviously me, I was excited to do this unit because, well, it was something that I was actually able to do. Like, if my life really depended on it, then I could probably swim for like a good while. Even to this day, I'm still a pretty good swimmer. But I remember back in my grade 5 year, while the teacher was handing out the waiver form that our parents had to sign, I ended up hearing one of of the girls in the class say, oh my goodness, like I'm like a level like 10 swimmer. Like I'm actually like really good at swimming. And she started showing off to the entire class how good of a swimmer she was. Now you guys are probably thinking like, oh, this girl's a total jerk. Yes, but also no, because this girl was one of the most popular and well-known girls in the school. And not only that, but she was also one of the most attractive girls in the school back in my grade 5 year. Like the amount of guys that were in grade 5 that also had a crush on her was insane. But like I said earlier, to be honest, this girl never really cared for me or noticed me because, well, I wasn't anything special or unique. Once again, I was just that basic dude. I remember when I got home that day though, I ended up walking up to my parents with the waiver form and I ended up handing it to them. And my mom saw this and she handed it to my dad, and my dad said to me, oh, Bubba, you're going swimming. You're gonna show everyone your special skills I taught you. I guess my dad took pride in teaching me how to swim, which to be fair, all he did was just throw me into a pool and expect me to figure it out, which I mean, I ended up doing, and he was there to save me, so nothing crazy there. But going on, I remember I ended up telling him, yeah, I mean, I'm excited to show everyone that I can swim. It'll be fun, I guess. And my dad looks at me signing the form saying, Bubba, this is your time to show who you really are in the pool. Wait, what? At this moment, I was really confused on what he was talking about, but then when I went downstairs and turned on my Xbox to play Call of Duty, I started to realize that maybe he was right. Maybe this was my time to really show off that I was something in my class and not just some basic guy with glasses that just sat there and played video games and, well, didn't really do much with his life at the time. But still, it was my moment. And that's what I thought this would all be. So the next day, I ended up getting my swim trunks on, which were my favorite pair of green swim trunks that I had. And I went to school. When I got there, I remember everyone was wearing their swimming outfits as well. And everyone was just talking and, you know, basically saying what games we should play in the pool while we have break time. I was kind of just standing there thinking, okay, so what do I do first? Do I show them how fast I can swim? Do I show them how long I can hold my breath underwater? Like, I was just thinking, like, what's the most impressive thing to do? But I remember the teacher came in and we all ended up hopping on the school bus and we got to the pool. And once we got there, trust me, the thing that I did not expect to happen happened. Because I remember when we all got there, everyone just started jumping into the pool right away. And me, it takes me some time to get inside the water. Like, I know what you guys are saying, like, oh, like, you're just being a wimp and, like, just jump in like everyone else does. No, for me, I gotta take my sweet and peaceful time, okay? The water was cold, okay, bro? So I would, like, kind of, like, dip my toe in to make sure, you know, the temperature is just right for me to slowly go inside the water and just kind of nice and slow. You know what I'm saying? Like, something more relaxing. Because I don't want to put my body into shock when I jump into the water. But I remember as I'm, like, slowly dipping my toe in, one of the girls, which was actually the popular girl that I was talking about earlier, ends up walking up to me saying, Bubba, are you, like, scared of going inside the water? Huh? Oh, no, I'm not scared of the water. I'm just, you know, I'm just making sure the temperature's right and everything, you know, don't want to get myself a heart attack. Bubba, the water's just warm. It's fine. Just go inside. Oh, I will. Just let me take my time. But since she was pressuring me so much to, like, get in the water, I remember I ended up sitting on, like, the side of it and putting my legs in. But then this girl decides to go all out and she sees her friends looking at her, talking to me. And she, I guess, decides to push me inside the water as, like, a joke. I remember when she pushed me in, I got, like, a huge shock in my body and I started to freak out, not thinking straight, and I ended up not actually swimming as good as I was supposed to. So me, I'm kind of just going under the water, and no, this is not the moment where I almost died, because that's later on in the story. But basically at this moment, I didn't really like remember how to swim, I guess, since I was like so in shock of just getting pushed into the water by this girl specifically. And then my friend ended up coming in and just grabbed me out of the water, and he's like, yo, Bubba, you okay, bro? I thought you knew how to swim. What? Oh, yeah, no, I do. It's just I wasn't thinking. You didn't think how to swim when you were in the water? At that moment, I just sat there embarrassed, not really thinking straight, and honestly just really weirded out. But I remember like 20 minutes go by and the teacher started like basically making us all go to like the shallow end of the pool, and we all started like doing some like basic exercises that we needed to do. And as we were doing these exercises, I remember a lot of the class was looking at me from like what happened, but I didn't really care. I just tried to pretend that it never happened in the first place. But right as class was about to end, we had like an extra like 20 minutes of free time as well to do whatever we wanted. So a lot of my friends, they ended up starting to play games like Grounders and stuff, but then one girl, which was the popular girl, decided to play the game called Chicken. Now, if you guys don't know what the game Chicken is, basically it's when you hop on someone's shoulders and you have to, you know, basically try to push the other person that's on another person's shoulders off and into the water. So me, I usually would think, oh, like I played this game with my dad and my family before. Basically, I'm supposed to hop on someone's shoulders. Yeah, no, what this girl decided to do was put us into teams teams, and she ended up going on top of my shoulders. Now me, I didn't really like know like how to be like the base of like the game chicken, so I kind of like, you know, started to worry. But this girl, she instantly went onto the side of the pool and said, Bubba, come here, let me get on your shoulders. Okay. Now I should probably mention, back when I was in grade 5, I was like literally like 5'2", not even, maybe like 5'3" at most on my tippy toes. So I'm going to the side, putting her on my shoulders, and me and everyone start playing this game called chicken. And you know, it was really good at first, but then there was this one battle with this other girl that was also pretty well known in my school, but not as hot and attractive as the other girl that was on my shoulders. We start, you know, versing them. And for some reason, I guess the guy that was like carrying the other girl was like slowly going towards the deep end of the pool. And I start to worry because me, I was only like 5'2". So as they're going towards the deep end, I start worrying like, okay, is this too deep? Is it not? And it got to the point where I am not joking. We went so far into the deep end that I basically was fully like submerged underwater. I remember I started to freak out and like bubbles started coming up and I'm like, okay, you know what? I should probably move back. But as I tried to move backwards, I remember this girl's legs were like compressing my neck so hard to the point where I couldn't breathe. So I kind of just start like jumping, trying to like gasp for air like every once in a while so I could, you know, get some oxygen in. But then every time I would come up in the air and try to get some oxygen in me, I end up hearing the girl say, Bubba, stay under there. I need to win. So I'm just stuck under there. And what this girl decides to do to make me stop jumping for air was to squeeze her legs even more towards my neck. So I'm like at this point full on drowning. Like I was not able to breathe. I was literally dying. And honestly, I think my face was almost purple. But as I'm like basically like dying, I remember there was a guy that was like across from me, which was the people we were versing. And he saw that I didn't have any goggles on and that I like wasn't able to breathe because he had goggles to see me underwater. So I remember what this guy ends up doing literally saved my life because he ends up dropping the girl that was on top of him backwards and he runs towards me and like basically does like a football tackle and brings me up into the air and starts holding me as if I was Fiona from Shrek. I remember he ended up carrying me to like the edge of the water and ended up putting me on the side of the pool. And me, I'm just coughing out all the water that I just inhaled from not breathing for so long. And he looks at me saying, yo, Bubba, you okay, bro? Like, I noticed your face was going purple, man. I started to worry. Yeah, I'm okay. I just couldn't breathe for a minute there. Bubba, you should really learn how to hold your breath. And at that moment, I just look at him and I just think, bro, I know how to swim. I know how to hold my breath. The two things I was trying to impress everyone for ended up not happening. At that moment, the teacher came out and we had to get ready to go to our next class back at the school. And well, I was super embarrassed because everyone called me the guy that almost drowned. And like, yeah, I went into the pool thinking that I was going to show off my new skills that my father taught me from becoming a swimmer, but nope, I was known as the guy who almost drowned. Great, dude. Love that. But if you guys do know how to swim, then follow for more embarrassing stories just like this one. Peace out, guys. My whole school thought I was dead. Now, the way this ended up happening, honestly, puzzles my mind to this day, but somehow it ended up working out. But the way this ended up happening was insane, and honestly, I need you guys to not do this. What I'm about to tell you in this story is something you cannot do at all, and you may get arrested, you may get in trouble, and you may get, you might actually die, actually. I don't know. It's dangerous. Don't do it. But the way the story ended up happening was insane. But before I get into that, obviously, you guys, I need you guys to do two things. One, leave a like and subscribe, and join me on the Twitch live stream that I'm streaming on right now. And on top of that, I need you guys to follow my Instagram because I am hosting a competition of who can send me the best story. And no, it won't be me saying that story because it's not my story. I'm gonna get one of you guys who sends me the story or the best story to basically join in on a YouTube video with me telling that story in the best, most crazy way possible. So make sure you guys do follow my Instagram. It's just Bubba Streams. And like I always say, before I get into this, leave a like, subscribe, and let's get straight into this crazy story. What is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba, and welcome back to another insane story. So this story takes place back when I was in grade 9. Back when I was in grade 9, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't attractive. I was in no way a W in any way. But one thing I never gained back in high school when I was in grade 9 was attention. And one thing I realized in high school is that people talk. If you guys don't understand and you guys are just entering high school or you guys are just leaving high school, when a rumor gets out, it gets out. Everyone hears about it no matter what. And me knowing this, I really wanted to test this theory. I always saw it in movies. I always saw it, you know, everywhere, but I never actually saw it in my life. And me being the attention attention wanter, attention whore. I don't know what's the best way to put it, but me wanting attention back in high school was impossible. But me pulling off this stunt was somehow insane and actually ended up working. You see, back when I was in high school, I remember one time me and my friend were just kind of sitting there, sitting at not even a lunch table. We were sitting beside the trash cans around lunchtime, and we were just sitting together. As we were sitting down, I remember we were just talking about all the popular kids and how dumb they were. Like, for example, one would break up with their boyfriend just because they got them like the wrong color iPhone. I don't know. It was all for the dumb stuff. Popular kids are never smart. Like, as I got popular, I swear I lost like all my chromosomes. But going on, I remember as I was like kind of sitting there beside my friend at lunchtime, beside the garbage, we were just kind of just sitting there and just talking about that. And I remember my friend told me, dude, honestly, I feel like if any of us died, no one would notice. And that's when it hit me. Death. A very common thing that most people go through daily. Technically speaking, every day, at least a person dies, right? Or is it every hour? I don't know. I'm not that cool with quotes, but going on. So I remember I looked at him, I'm like, dude, what if one of us died? I remember my friend looked at me, he's like, dude, what do you want? And I'm like, dude, think about it. If one of us died, we can get the attention of almost every girl in school. My friend looked at me, he started like rolling his eyes. He's like, why do you always want to become like the cool kid in school? Like, seriously, just accept our fate, man. It's high school. I looked at him, I'm like, dude, no, it's not. Trust me, this is a big brain idea. I remember he looked at me, he's like, okay, well, like, how is this gonna work? I remember I looked at him and I planned this out. Now, this was Operation Bubba's Death, if you guys don't know. This was seriously a bad idea, and to this day, don't do it. Please don't. I advise YouTube, and I'm telling everyone on YouTube and everyone that's watching this video, don't do this. It's not allowed. Banned. Basically, me and my friend, we ended up going to my house, and we basically started planning this out. What we did was we basically went on my Instagram page that only had like 200 followers, and basically we ended up kind of just making it dark. And by dark, I don't mean we posted anything illegal, guys. I mean we literally just posted a photo of it saying offline on an Instagram post, and on top of that, an actual profile picture. Now, when this first posted, obviously it wasn't gaining any popularity. People were looking at it, but people weren't really understanding it. Like I said, it only had 200 followers, and we had over like what, 3,000 kids in our school. So for this to really go out there, one thing we really had to do was make it more insane. So I remember my friend ended up posting on his story, and basically he put the title "Rip Bubba" on it. And when people saw that, people were actually kind of concerned. I remember the first day of the weekend starting, no one recognized anything. No one commented, no one really cared. But then it's the second day when real stuff started happening. I remember I got a text message from a girl on my phone saying, hey, I know this is Bubba's phone. I just want to say I always like thanked him for like helping me back in math class. Seriously, I seriously think he's an awesome guy. I'm sorry for his loss. First off, when a person dies, don't text their phone number. That's weird. And second, I didn't even know that girl even had my number. So that scared me. Knowing that a girl texted me on my number that I didn't even get her number on is insane. But then over time, I started getting more text messages from random people. And I'm like, do people think I'm actually dead? Now, this is where it started to scare me, because I remember Monday was coming up, and Monday I had to go to school. I cannot tell my parents, oh, like I died. Oh, I can't go to school, because they wouldn't believe me, because I'm not actually dead. So I remember I ended up going up to my mom, pretending I was sick, saying, Mom, I can't go to school. I feel really sick. I just can't. And my mom looks over and says, okay, like you don't have to go to school, honey. Like we understand you. You really can't go to school. So I remember the day Monday came around, and my mom ended up calling the school saying, oh, like he's not feeling well, and you know, like he cannot make it to school. And on Monday, when people started realizing I didn't come to school, people were worried. I remember one minute when I looked at the Instagram page, I was gaining a follower throughout the whole school day, like every minute. People were figuring out who I am and freaking out. And I just keep seeing under the comment section of that Instagram post, Rip Bubba, Bubba, you're so awesome, rip in the chat. And I'm starting to like be like, bro, who are these people? None of these people know who I am, but yet they're commenting this. But either way, I was gaining the attention that I wanted originally, but not in the way that I wished. That's one thing I realized. Anyways, going on though, I remember after school, I went from like having 240 followers on Instagram to having now like, I don't know, I think I gained like almost 700 out of that one day. I remember people like after school were coming up to my house and stuff, and they were actually dropping off flowers. And my mom didn't question it, because my mom was like, oh, like your friends left you flowers for you being sick. I hope you're doing okay. But then more flowers came, and I'm not joking, guys. I think we got like 4 like bouquets of like just roses, but they weren't like normal roses. Like they were like dead people roses, like the ones you put in funerals. Kind of crazy. And then my mom looks at me and says, are you ready for school tomorrow? I look at my mom knowing that people think I'm dead. I can't just go to school. So I remember I ended up calling my friend saying, bro, we need to let people know I'm alive again. My friend looked at me saying, how in the world are we gonna do that? People think you're already dead. We can't just lie to the internet. Even though 80% of us lie on the internet, still, it's not good to lie on the internet. Don't lie. So remember I told him, dude, tomorrow I'm just gonna go to school. I'm gonna say I was raised from the dead and I saw heaven. I remember I ended up going to school the next day, and that was my plan. When I first walked through the door, I'm not gonna lie, I ended up seeing one of my high school crushes that I was like kind of crushing on back in my theater class days, and I walked up to her. Instantly when I saw my high school crush and I was walking up to her and everyone was looking at me, people were pulling out their phones left and right. People wanted to show everyone that I was alive. And I remember when I walked up to her, I looked at her and said, hey. She looked at me and she's like, what, Baba? I thought you died. And I know this sounds really cringy, but I ended up looking at her and saying, yeah, but I came back from the dead for you. Everyone was looking. Some said, aw, some were disgusted. Some just straight up just cringed and walked away. But then my high school crush, she looked at me and said, honestly, you're absolutely dumb for doing this whole thing. But knowing it was a stunt to ask me out, honestly, fine. We can go out once. Me and her ended up actually going out that one time. And I'm not gonna lie, we did end up doing the devil's tango. But I was severely in trouble from the principal's office because people were really spreading the word. And apparently they were gonna plan an assembly about my death. Thankfully, they didn't. Anyways, guys, that is basically it for the video. Make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe if you guys haven't already. And before you guys leave, make sure you guys do follow me on Instagram. Seriously, it means a lot. And I'm currently live on Twitch right now. So make sure you guys do join in on that as well. Now, like I always say, follow for more embarrassing stories. All right, peace out, guys.